Previously on the
Beta
Diaries.
I should also mention, I'm going to do a giveaway in this video. Now, this is going to be not from me. This is not coming out of my pocket. This is from Blizzard. Blizzard have been kind enough, well, the WoW team in general have been kind enough to give me some codes. It's not beta codes, so don't get too excited. It's actually mounts and pets. But repeatable quests, hand-ins, they do not work. They do not give XP. We've tested loads of repeatable quest hand-ins, and none of them give XP. Morthis Whisperwing was added in Zangarmarsh to Cenarium Refuge just by the Moonwell. So he was added in 2.1, and he's the one who starts the Epic Flight Form quest. So before we get too far in, I did announce a giveaway courtesy of Blizzard. They gave me some codes for mounts and pets. So the last video I announced the giveaway would be for a mount, specifically the Silverian Dreamer. So all you had to do was comment on the video saying why you play retail. So I'll show you on screen. I don't mind you seeing the statistics. So there's 508 comments. So all I'm going to do is simply roll 508, quickly scroll through to whatever the corresponding comment is, assuming it lands on a unique comment, as in somebody who's not a reply, so an actual "this is why I play retail," then that will be the person who wins. If it lands on someone who didn't actually mention that they like playing retail, or it's just a generic comment, or it's a reply to somebody else's comment, then I'll simply roll again. So I'm going to do that in game so you can see the exact roll that I do. Okay, so like I say, all I'm going to do is /roll 508 and try and keep my eye on this, looking for group chat and make sure there's nothing too toxic going to end up on YouTube. So we'll roll 508 and then I'll have a real quick look through. Had to be 460, didn't it? It had to be high. It couldn't have been a low number to make my life easy. So we'll find out who 460 is. Obviously, I'm going to go right to the bottom of the comments and then work my way up because it's going to be a bit quicker, but let's have a look. Okay, so while I'm scrolling through hundreds of comments trying to find the winner, we are going to announce the next giveaway, which is for the Dreadwake mount, which I'll put on screen now. Again, I'll keep it nice and simple like the last one. So the next episode of Beta Diaries, which you're only going to have 24 hours for this one because I will be doing a video tomorrow. So to get the Dreadwake, all you got to do is let me know in the comments why you are looking forward to Classic TBC. What is the one reason you're looking forward to Classic TBC? And then I'll do exactly the same thing again tomorrow, where I'll do the random roll through the comments, assuming that it lands on a sort of suitable comment, so an actual reason why you're looking forward to Classic TBC, then you will win the mount for your retail account, which I appreciate. Not going to help you on Classic, but still. Anything for free is always nice. And then once again, thank you to Blizzard, because this is absolutely courtesy of them, nothing to do with me. Pretty sure the AoE cap wasn't properly implemented yet. So I'm having to log back in game again because the first roll did not land on somebody who made a relevant comment. That's my luck today. So I'll roll 508. Oh my word. 1. All right, this will make it a little bit easier. 1. Gino. I play retail because I hate my life. So Gino, make sure you get in touch on Discord. Details are in the description. And we'll just verify that it is actually you, of course. So there'll be a short verification process. But then you're going to get the key. Now, I mean, that roll worked out pretty well for me because I didn't have to scour through hundreds of comments like I did the first time. So again, Gino, get in touch, mate. Congratulations. You've won yourself a mount. All right, so look, there's not tons that I want to talk about. There's only really a few points, but a couple of the points are quite big, and it's probably worth spending a good 5 minutes on each of those topics. So one of them we've already spoke about. I've actually put guides out for rogues and druids, and then another one specifically aimed at druids, so that's stealth farming. So we're going to briefly touch on that shortly. But I'm going to be spending most of the week looking at professions, so mainly the professions that we've got a lot of questions around. So still, as of this moment in time, engineering heads are not in the game, but I am going to be leveling my engineering today. I'm going to be leveling my mining today, predominantly for stealth runs actually, to get some good footage on that, some good routes. And I want to obviously, as I say, touch on that a little bit later anyway. But just a really basic one, which a lot of people have been asking, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't realise it was as big of a deal as it actually is. So people was asking about nameplates and the distance at which nameplates work. So in Classic it's 20 yards. In TBC it's still 20 yards. Now me personally, I've never really seen this as an issue, but when we started testing it, people was really kicking off quite big time about the fact that it's only 20 yards still. So there is possibly something we could do to get that increased, but in case you was wondering, yes, the nameplate range is still 20 yards. Another one that got brought up, which I'm not sure why, but I'll just put it on screen now. So the Shadow Prowler's chest guard. So this is in the game, and there's no reason why I wouldn't have expected it to be in the game because it was introduced in 2.0.3, which was obviously the launch of TBC. So not sure where these questions are coming from. I don't know if there's a bit of a misunderstanding that this perhaps came later on in the game due to its quality, but no, it's in the game. I've been to the Violet Eye vendor, so if you want to make this, you can. I mean, this is a great alternative to the Primal Strike chest early on, for example, so it could actually sway your decision on whether you go level working or not. But in case you didn't know this existed, then it's there, it's there. You can get the recipe if you're a level worker from Violet Eye, and you can get it made. Now, the two big ones that I really want to spend time talking about, which if you haven't seen, there's multiple mages who we watch on YouTube that you will know are, you know, AoE farmers. They put guides out on YouTube, fantastic guides, obviously I might add. So, you know, Zul'Gurub, you know, massive Moradon pools, Zul'Thuruk, you know, all these sort of speed leveling ways of getting your mage up fast. This is not new. This was not new to me, and I fully expected it, but I have been getting a lot of messages on Discord saying, oh, check this video out, look, people are doing this. So they're AoEing in slave pens. Now, this is age old. This is actually age old. I mean, hunters, warlocks, there's loads of classes historically that used to do this. They used to solo farm in slave pens. I must admit, I don't recall mages doing it like this, but what we've got to bear in mind, and I'm not taking anything away from them, you know, what they're doing is fantastic. It is research, it's testing, it's perfect what they're doing. My only slight negative criticism is obviously the AoE cap is not in the beta. So we're sort of pulling 16 to 20 mobs, let's say, and maybe killing them in, I don't know, let's say 5 to 10 minutes. But you won't kill them that quickly when the AoE cap's in. There's been calculations done. Shout out to Arleus. I did actually watch his video this morning after someone sent me a link, and he does all the calculations at the end of roughly how long it will take. But obviously now, the longer it takes, the more your mana's got to hold out, etc. I mean, for me, this would be better testing once the AoE cap's in, but there are pools that you can do in there where you would technically kill up to 10 mobs, you know, so you could stay under the AoE cap potentially. But as I say, I just wouldn't get too excited right now because the AoE cap's not in, and when it comes in, it could be very different. Something I will be testing when it comes to the AoE cap will be this similar pool in slave pens, but as a paladin. Now, it's going to be difficult as a paladin because of the rounding up is going to be the most difficult bit, but the actual putting consecrate down and jumping on and off the ledge, that shouldn't be much of an issue. If I can manage to actually get the pools right, I have a feeling as a paladin it will be absolutely fine. But obviously all my time's being spent on the druid at the moment, so that is something later to come. What are my concerns around this? I mean, I've got a lot of concerns around this because I didn't like the boost in meta in Classic. You know, have I used it? Obviously I have. Like I say about all these things, when people ask about the 58 boost, when they ask about gold tokens, like all these things, I always say the same thing. It's very hard for me to comment negatively about these things because if they was in the game I would use them, and it's the same with the AoE boosting, you know, the mage boosting in Classic. Whilst I don't like it, you know, I wish it wasn't there, because it is there and I'm lazy, of course I'm going to pay for boosts. Now, I don't want this to carry over into TBC. You know, I don't mind there being good solo farms for making gold, if that, you know, if that be that AoE in slave pens or whatever, but you can almost see that already turning into boosting, you know, get to the required level, getting in the instance, and then just paying the mage to round up, AoE him down, out, and reset. Now, I'm sort of hoping it doesn't get to that. And the reason I sort of don't think it will get to that is because while we play Classic now, a lot of people seem to think that this is new. They think that, you know, when they discover these different things, and I'm not talking about Mage AoE specifically, but, you know, just general things where we're like, oh, this is awesome, you know, all of a sudden this is gonna be the go-to meta. Well, you got to remember the AoE cap was changed for a reason back in the day when we went into TBC, and the reason for that was mages. I mean, I remember 15 years ago, longer now actually, mages AoEing all the pirates at Tanaris. I must admit, I don't remember them solo farming instances or boosting instances. That could have happened, but it's not something that was so sort of prevalent and in your face that I remember it, at least anyway. I personally never ever remember being boosted once by a mage in Classic back in the day, so vanilla. Obviously the AoE cap was changed to counteract mages. It was mainly mages. On the basis it then wasn't a thing in TBC, and we was all becoming better players in TBC, I would say. You know, overall I reckon the player base was a lot more experienced. We was finding out more than we did during vanilla, and the fact that private servers are a thing and they've been around for a long time, and it's not something, according to sources, not me, that it doesn't happen on them. So I just feel like we should just slow down, you know, don't get too excited or don't get too depressed that you think the boosting meta is going to be in, because there is a good chance that it won't be. But it could still be a good way for a mage to solo level and get XP, you know, but we'll have to see how that plays out once the AoE cap's in place. So that's really all my thoughts on the whole mages AoE solo in slave pens at the moment. So let's move on. Now, I just want to play you a real short clip from one of my previous videos, which I've already mentioned, which was about stealth farming, solo farming, stealth farming as a rogue or a druid. Now, I said back then, it's a lot easier on a rogue. I've been doing it quite comfortably on a 64 druid, and I say quite comfortably. There are going to be the odd veins, so if you're going in after mining, there is going to be the odd veins that you can't get. But to say I'm level 64, and I'm still doing it fairly comfortable as a druid, I'd go as far as saying at 62, 63, you could do this super comfortably as a rogue. So I've been testing it on the beta. I'm going to do a video revolving all around it, but everything that I said in the mining video from a couple of weeks ago absolutely is accurate. So you can use that as a guide. All the veins, the mining veins, are all in the same place. So all the spawns are in exactly the same place as what I showed in that video. But let me just quickly show you it, and then I'll just give you a little bit of a recap on what I've found. But as you can see, we've just got to the first boss, and there's a perfectly safe adamantite deposit for us to get. So if you ran each of these dungeons so far like I have once, you'd have been guaranteed thus far 5 adamantite deposits, which require 0 combat, 0 gear, absolutely nothing, just completely free. And now it's just past this boss where there's an ancient lichen. So these are just 3 non-elite mobs that you could absolutely plow through. You can sap the mob on the right. For the rest of the run, literally stealth through and then look straight away, another mine. Now, this one, again, you might think, well, how on earth am I going to get this? But it's actually fairly easy with a decent bit of timing on your distract. You get plenty of time to mine this, and then if you leave it a little bit late, because I left it a little bit late because I was thinking, well, you know, let's realistically get the whole node farmed, you know, get every single piece of ore, and then I vanish as the mob's coming towards me. But you could quite easily, you know, mine it a couple of times, then go back into stealth, and then distract again, and then mine it again. You know, be as safe as you want. On this occasion, wasn't really too bothered about being safe. I wanted to demonstrate, you know, I could stand there as long as physically possible for you guys. Now, for the rest of the run, there's nothing really worth talking about. Yeah, I mean, that was a couple of weeks ago. We know now that in the beta, it's exactly the same. So as a rogue, as a druid, you can absolutely stealth this. Like I said in the video, I would expect 2 mines per run. I done a full lockout and I was getting 2 mines per run. Sometimes they were rich. Didn't actually come across any corium, but I'm going to be doing a lot of testing on this today. Once I've gone around and farmed some fell iron ore so I can actually get the adamantite in the dungeons rather than just stealthing to the veins and standing there looking a bit stupid, I'm going to actually confirm, you know, rough stacks of ore per hour by doing this as a druid. I can't test it as a rogue yet, but obviously getting a rogue to 64 is going to be one of the next things I do, probably after the paladin. This is absolutely a legitimate good way to make gold, and I know what you're thinking. The second there's a good way of making gold in instances, it's like, well, you know, if you can do it, the bots will be doing it and they'll be doing it better, faster, camping it like BRD. Possibly, but you're not a bot. So do you want a way to make gold? This is a way to make gold. Now, I've tried lots of other instances. So when I've done this video before, there was comments saying like, well, what about slave pens? What about underbog? Blah, 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 blah. Now, I've currently only done mana tombs because mana tombs is probably the one that I plan on doing it in the most, specifically on a rogue with mining and herbing, so I can get the ancient lichen, lichen, whatever you want to call it as well. But I did, just for testing purposes and out of curiosity, I went to the underbog and I went to slave pens. What I found is it's not a good place to go. So firstly, there's 2, well, especially as a druid, you could probably do it as a rogue because you could run through and then vanish, but seems quite pointless. So when you get in slave pens and you get through to the point where there's the 2 guards stood at the door, so after the mob skip that you do, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, don't worry, I'll be doing instance guides soon enough. But you get to 2 mobs that can see through stealth, so as a druid you can't get through. It's as simple as that. And underbog is very similar. When you get past the first boss and you're about to go up the ramp, there is also mobs there that see through stealth. So you basically hit a brick wall in both of these instances. Whereas in Mana Tombs, you can get all the way to the last boss. Well, you can get all the way past the last boss, back to the entrance. So you basically do one big circle and then start again. So Mana Tombs, as of now, is the best place to go. We know at 70, Sefek Halls is potentially going to be better, just because it's a little bit smaller. The mines are normally quite close to the entrance, actually. You normally get one, at least, quite close to the entrance. So, but obviously with the level cap at 64, the Mana Tombs is the best I can do at the moment. But you've got to remember, I am a druid, so I do not have Vanish, and I'm only 64 and the mobs are 66, and I'm still fairly confident I'm using it as quite an efficient gold farm. So just wanted to confirm that definitely works, and you definitely get 2 mines per run. So look, I'm going to be getting off for a little bit, and then I'll be streaming over on Scottejaye87 on Twitch. So please come over and give me a follow. If you like this video, give it a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for lots more TBC content. Go back historically and look at episode 1, 2, and 3, because I'm sure there's information in there that you may not know. Links to all 3 episodes are in the description below. Until tomorrow, take care. Peace out.